Colorado Avalanche Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Shortline Subaru. Save money, drive better. Connect for Health. You might not think you need health insurance. We all do. Get yours today at connectforhealthcolorado.com. And by Jeep. And the unique brand of freedom you'll only find in the full line of Jeep vehicles. Visit Jeep.com. For the seventh consecutive game, the Avalanche play an Eastern Conference team, and for the first time this season, they welcome the Carolina Hurricanes to the Pepsi Center, a place where the Avs have never lost to Carolina. Let's take a look at the Ford starting lineup. And let's take a peek first, Peter, at the starting goaltenders.
Well, Ford, the Carolina Hurricanes, Cam Ward, he is their #1 goaltender. Mike, when he is on his game, he is absolutely tremendous. He's a former Conn Smythe Trophy winner back in '06 when these Carolina Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. At the other end, Reto Berra. You look at his record, 2-2-1, Mike, but every game he's played in for the Avalanche, every one has been a one-goal game. And I think that's what really has filtered through of the first 20 games for the Avalanche. So many close games. 14, if you throw out an empty net goal in Ottawa, 14 were one-goal games. So the Avalanche know that they just need to turn it up. One save, one goal, and this whole thing could turn around.
And Peter, last year they led the NHL in one-goal victories.
Yes.
So they know that is a recipe for getting into the playoffs. Here we go. The Avalanche and the Hurricanes have begun. Carolina with a puck, long shot, pinballs back behind the net, slug back behind the cage, centering pass, picked off by Landeskog. He gets bumped behind the net, back crashes in the back of the net, and the puck comes around the wall. Iginla fires out to center ice, back it up. Jay McClement, ex-Avalanche player, and the puck, he has it again. Bounce pass behind the net, off the boards, chipped off the glass, and into the center zone. Scooped up, 2-on-1 developing for the Canes. Pass in the slot, backhander, and a kick save made by Berra. Back behind the net, tap free. Canes are on it. Pass back off the boards to the point. Belmore slides it across, but it came out of the zone. Shot by Ron Hainsey. Back into the Avalanche end, and we got a line change for both clubs happening. We're about a minute into the first period. No score between the Avalanche and the Hurricanes. Pass up ice for O'Reilly. Scooped it ahead, and on the fly comes Duchene. He's upended. That'll be a penalty. Eric Stahl, the captain for the Carolina Hurricanes, is going to the box for upending Matt Duchene.
Mike, that play happened right in front of me. The player that made that play was Ryan O'Reilly. He read that perfectly. Duchene is coming up the right wall. And O'Reilly gets it, and he throws a little aerial just past everybody. Watch you say left side of the screen. He's moving. Stahl does not see the puck. And Duchene skated right by him, forces Stahl to take him down. But what a great pass read by O'Reilly.
A tripping penalty on Stahl at 1:05, and the Avalanche go to work on the power play. With the puck, Landeskog, his pass got slowed up. Taken out to center and dumped in. Now, if the Avs score on this power play, a lucky winner will get an Avalanche ticket to an upcoming game, courtesy of American Lifestyle Furniture. Chance to win, register at AFWOnline.com/altitude.
Right, just a quick note, Redmond, with Tanguay out of the line, but Redmond's getting some time with Tyson Barrie on the first power play unit.
And shot from center ice by Redmond. Shot behind the net by Ward, kicked free behind the net. Duchene chasing for the Avalanche, chipped away, tapped out in front, but grabbed and carried out towards center ice by Patrick Dwyer. Finds an opening and shoots the puck into the Colorado end. 1:05 remaining in the Stahl penalty. Off for tripping at 1:05. First power play chance of the game for either team. Johnson upended. No penalty was called. This Carolina Hurricanes team, 16th in the league, killing penalties. And Peter, they simply don't take a lot of penalties. And so if you get a power play opportunity, try to make the most of it if you can. It's a team that averages just 9 penalty minutes a game. Last year, they had the fewest penalty minutes per game in the entire National Hockey League.
Yeah, it was historic low numbers of penalty minutes last year.
Chipped around the wall. Landeskog with the puck. Gets bumped. Hainsey behind the net, threw it out in front. It's taken and lifted away. Sent down the ice by Nathan Gerbe. Handled with 15 seconds to go in the power play by goaltender Reto Berra. Handoff is made, and a quick pass up ice made by Hayda. And a race into the corner of the Carolina zone. McGinley with a hit, freed up the puck, comes out in between the circles, stalls out of the penalty box. The puck passed across to him into the zone, shot down the slot, broken up. Clearing attempt, did not get out of the zone. Shot by Falk, gets it again, shoots wide, chance for Stahl, but Barrett came out of the net quickly and jumped on that puck and covered for a face-off.
Well, for Eric Stahl, he's captain of this hockey club and has been the face of this franchise, Mike, for a lot of years, since he was drafted number 2 overall in 2003. One of the best draft years the National Hockey League has ever seen. They had some tremendous players come out of that draft, and he certainly, Mike, has been a great player for this franchise.
His brother, Jordan, currently out with a broken leg. Center ice, he's also got a brother, Mark, plays for the New York Rangers. McLeod to Talbot. Skates behind the net, poke checked away by Tim Gleason of the Carolina Hurricanes. Big defenseman, Simmons trying to chip it out in the center, had a block, quick pass ahead by Stahl over the line. Pass to the slot, shot, score! And guess who? John Michael Liles, the old Avalanche defenseman, comes back to Denver, haunts his ex-team with a goal. And for Liles, his first goal of the season.
Well, for Avalanche fans, this is just a look into the past. Johnny Liles did this for so many years for the Avalanche. Just great read. Skinner does a nice job. Skinner pulls the defenseman towards him right there and throws it right under the stick. Perfect pass. But nice read. But Johnny Liles, again, Mike, jumping up into the play. We've seen it with Tyson Barrie. Those defensemen, when they jump up and join the rush, how dangerous they can make a play.
Big smile from Liles. He sits on the Carolina bench. And we'll show you the Jeep scoring summary. It is the first of the season for Liles, coming at .348. Jeff Skinner, Eric Stahl, two of the big wigs for the Carolina Hurricanes, assisting. And Stahl, 7 assists and 13 points.
Mike, the monster line is out there.
The 3 players called up yesterday from Lake Erie. The reason we're calling the monster line, because the nickname for the American Hockey League affiliate for the Avalanche is the Lake Erie Monsters, and they were playing together for several games as a line combination, and Coach Waugh keeping them together as a line combination.
I mean, you look at how the game will probably play out for the Avalanche. That the forward line for the Avalanche, Cliché's line, will probably get a little more ice time, be more of a third line ice time for the Avalanche, and the monster line probably a little bit more fourth line minutes.
Puck to center ice, Gerbe pushed the puck through the middle circle, carried in, Skinner trying to wave it back across, broken up by the Avs, and a steal by the Canes. Skinner, nice pass, backhand, saved by Barrett, loose puck, still loose in the slot, overskated by the Canes, and Gerbe shoots and scores. And it is 2-0 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Nathan Gerbe with his second goal. The Avs just couldn't get it out of that little scrum in front of the net, Peter. Couldn't cover from Barrett's standpoint, couldn't clear from the defense standpoint, and Gerbe fires it in.
And Mike, what you have to like about Gerbe, Mike, this is just a guy with all kinds of heart. He is not a big guy. He's 5'5", and yet last year 16 goals. I mean, he is a kind of player that just works like so tirelessly down low. He finds it, fires it home, and you know, for a Carolina club, Mike, that's been struggling. They had a bad start to the season. They're trying to do what the Avalanche are trying to do, get themselves back in the playoff picture in the East.
Carolina goal scored by.
So it's 2-0 in favor of Carolina. Dumped down the ice by the Avalanche. Turned up the wall into the corner. Briere been moved up to that top line. He's on a line with Alex Tanguay out because of his injury. So he's with Duchesne and O'Reilly, the #1 line for the Avalanche. The puck squeezed free. Grabbed by Gleason, reversed, makes a pass, and Liles will carry the puck to center. Quick pass ahead, but Hayda separates the puck away from the Clement. Duchesne sends it back into the corner for Erik Johnson. So the Hurricanes with 2 goals in the first 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Go ahead, Peter.
Just going to say that completely different team. Carolina, the last club the Avalanche faced, the Washington Capitals. Washington was a gigantic team, especially up front. This is not as big a club. They're a lot quicker and a lot more finesse, maybe, than the Washington Capitals.
The puck is fired into the Carolina bench, and the Hurricanes with a 2-0 advantage over the Avalanche. Peter, goal, that second goal scored by Gerby, and the assists going to Riley Nash and Jeff Skinner, with the goal coming at 5:10. That's made it 2-0 in favor of the Hurricanes.
Well, Michael, not the start the Avalanche wanted, I'll tell you that right now, because they're coming off a game where they only allowed 23 shots on goal last game. Thought they did a lot of good things. You know, they got star-powered last game. Ovechkin was terrific, but, you know, they were confident coming in. So now it's just heard the players saying a lot of time left, but they definitely need that next goal.
Dumped into the corner to resume play. 2-0 lead for Carolina. Back behind that, Gerby threw it out in front, blocked by Bear, rebound, then covered by Barra, and we've got a whistle.
Well, Michael, let's look at this line for the Colorado Avalanche. Andrew Agozzino, Mike, what a camp he had. I mean, he was really pushing hard to make the club at the start of the season. Ben Street, unfortunately, got hurt in camp, and, you know, he hurt his hand, and he could not really get himself going in camp. Vincenzo, same thing. He hurt his knee and missed most of camp. So they're just getting back to playing hockey for the Lake Erie Monsters, and now they're up with the Avalanche.
Stahl works the puck towards the corner, rammed around the boards, kept in though at the point by Lyles. Shipped it across, hit into the corner by Eric Stahl. Duchesne backhand to the cross and out to center. Slipped it in. Picked up by Duchesne, circles behind the net, finds O'Reilly. 13 minutes left to go in the period. Pass up the ice for Duchesne. Carries in, shoots it off the glass, races to the corner, but Hainsey got there first. Rolled around the wall. Johnson pinching in. Backhand try, gets blocked, scooped behind the net by Duchesne, spins, bumped by Hainsey, takes away the puck. Puts it up the wall, out to center. Semin. Pass, deflects in, grabbed by O'Reilly. They'll dump the puck towards Ward. He'll stop it and scoop it across. 2-0 lead for Carolina. 7 shots for the Hurricanes, and right now, at least on the scoreboard, now they're showing 1 shot on net. That last one by O'Reilly.
Right, look at just the hockey ability here. Watch this puck come up through the middle, and watch Duchesne jump and pick it up on the far side, and not just touch the puck, but control the puck after he saw it. I mean, that was always, to me, was what separated Sakic, Forsberg from other players, their ability to take a pass. That was a great example of a play out by Duchesne.
From behind the net, chip free, around the wall, towards the near side boards for Nash. Avalanche free up the puck, comes loose, but it's the Hurricanes. Got it, shipped down to center. Turned back behind the net. Waiting back behind the cage for the breakout to begin. Bearing up fights. Pass off the boards. Goes deep into the end zone. Hurricanes first to the puck. To the point. Shot by Falk. Gets blocked. Gets it again. Chipped down the wall. McKinnon took it back. And lobbed back out to center. Long pass. Right on the stick. Look back and chipped out towards center ice by the Avalanche. McClement on it. Put it right in front of the penalty box. Sent ahead. That stopped. Tipped back in. And a race for the puck, but the whistle's been blown. It is an icing call on the Avalanche.
Mike, when you see this, it's impossible to believe that this injury is not as bad as first thought. When you have taken Alexander Ovechkin semi-snapshot right in the face, and you walk away with and you're day-to-day, 2 days later, boy, did he get lucky. I mean, it's no fun. He wasn't lucky getting hit in the face, but lucky that it's not as bad, certainly, as it could have been.
So the Hurricanes, Peter, leading 2-0. Fastest 2 goals against the Avalanche this season, just a minute and 22 seconds apart. And they are up here in this first period, about 11 minutes to go. Agazino shoots the puck ahead in that monster line, headed back to the Avalanche bench. Chipped up the wall. Hurricanes stall, flips the pass up ice to the defenseman Gleason, gets to the red line, sends to the head. The Avalanche right on it. McLeod, Leach, and Talbot's line out for Colorado. Pass. It's tipped in the air, bouncing wide, back into the Kane zone, smacked around, and down the ice by the Hurricanes. Whistle blown, and we got a very upset Cody McLeod. He's being pushed away from the Hurricanes by the linesman there.
Well, Cody McLeod knows it. This club needs something, and over the course of his career, he has been that guy that's given them something in these kind of situations. Is it a big hit? And this was a hard, clean hit by Cody McLeod. And you can just see that snarl in his face as he skates to the bench, Mike.
Hayden holds the puck in, but his pass to O'Reilly then ends up coming into the neutral zone. Offside Avalanche.
Well, let's look at another injury for the Avalanche. Dennis Everberg, who had played so well, he had an assist earlier in the game on Briere's goal, but separated his shoulder on this play. Again, Wilson, who had a big game as far as big hits for the Washington Capitals. That was a clean hit. It was just one of those situations. The shoulder, he'll be out for a while, hopefully not too long.
Put off the boards by Sekera. Out towards center ice. Avalanche get it back. Strasel just recently got picked up on waivers from the Detroit Red Wings. Handled the puck for a moment. Then back across. Holden. Near side for O'Reilly. Winds, he shoots. And the glove save made by Cam Ward. We'll take a timeout. Halfway through the first, Carolina leads it 2-0. Let's take a look at who is in the groove, presented by Groove Subaru.
Well, there are 30 teams in the National Hockey League, and Mike, how many clubs are led by defensemen? 3. Mark Giordano, and probably the surprise in the National Hockey League this year in Calgary. What a year he and his team are having. Keith Gendel, the Avalanche's next foe in Arizona, leading them in scoring, and Tyson Barrie with 14 boards. He had his second goal of the season last game, and Mike, even more than that, Mike, he's the way that he is playing has everybody in the Avalanche excited.
Scramble for the puck, comes out free into the middle zone, and pushed back into the Carolina end by Holden of the Avalanche. Turned around the boards. Flipped out towards center ice. Back into the head. Strasel puts it into the Colorado end. Picked up on the fly by Redmond. Skates out to center. Dumped into the corner. Hard off those corner boards. There's a loose puck in front. And it's just over the net. Back into the corner. Redmond shoots. And it's in! It went off the skate and into the net. And the Avalanche have cut the lead in half. Redmond, I believe it went off a Hurricane defenseman's skate. But nonetheless, it's a goal.
And Mike, the monster line, Patrick Waugh talked about leaving them together, and he said the one thing we do want from this line is some energy. And boy, oh boy, was that a great shift, a needed shift for the Colorado Avalanche. I think it's going to bounce right in off, as you said, Mike. Number 4 right here, watch the puck come across. Banks in, and the Avalanche on Redmond's goal get themselves right back in this game. But Vince, Mike, he'll pick up an assist.
Well, you got to love it. You're those 3 guys. You get called up, and you're on the ice for the first goal for your team. Now it's a 2-1 hockey game. The Avalanche, just their 3rd shot of the period, but it counts. Zach Redmond, as we show you our team scoring summary, at 10:52 gets credit for the goal after it went off a Sekera's skate. And Vinsur, and how about that? Agazino playing that first NHL game, gets an assist, Peter.
And you know what he's thinking right now?
This is easy.
This thing is nuts, huh? You know, what's Gretzky's record?
Why wasn't I here from the beginning? Yeah, what's the assist record in the
I'll
NHL?
tell him he's 161 away from his assist record.
Dumped into the corner. Barra throws it into the near side corner. McClement Overskates the puck. Avalanche have got it. A little energy now for Colorado. They trail 2-1, but that goal brought the crowd to life. Steal the corner, thrown out in front of the side of the net now. Loose puck, grabbed by Falk. Quick pass up ice, taken through the middle by Brad Malone. Malone, former Avalanche, in, shoots, and it's off the glove of goaltender Reto Berra. Around the wall to the far side point. Pass across for Falk. He shoots, and a tip by McClement sends the puck wide. Put back behind the net. Gaines with the puck. Back to the line is Malone. Pass across. Shot gets blocked. Gannon got in the way of the shot. Shipped out to center ice by the Avalanche. Hurricanes making a line change. Avalanche doing the same. Pass gets through down the middle. Walking in. Circling back behind the net. In the slot. Nice steal made by Briere. Gives to O'Reilly. Good defensive work there by Danny Briere. Lyles backing up. Makes a pass up ice. Down the near side. Just overshooting. Lindholm with a pass. That causes the play to be an icing call.
Mike, you and I have been around this club since the start of training camp, and we've had our first opportunity as a player for the Avalanche to meet Danny Briere. I think both of us were struck with it. This is a true gentleman, a really good guy. But you know when you learn about a player, not when everything's going in. When he was coach's assistant for 7 games in a row, he was still that person that you could talk to every day. He didn't like it. He worked hard. But it's the kind of guy that you root for in those kind of situations.
Great point, Peter. You certainly do. Shot right in the chest of Ward, and that chance by O'Reilly. With the puck scooped into the corner for Duchesne. Well, that goal, Peter, seems to have really given this team some life. Pass out in front, and Ward without a stick, able to cover that puck with the glove.
Well, the one thing about Danny Briere, I mean, this guy has a fantastic resume in the National Hockey League, and you know, a lot of people point to his playoff performance, which over time has been spectacular. But Mike, he's a really smart hockey player. He's got just that little bit of don't you dare think because I'm small I won't smack you with this stick in him, you know, and then that's kept people honest over the years. But he is a nice Tanguay's out, and you miss Tanguay because he's playing so well. Briere is a great insurance policy in these situations.
There's a chance in front of the net, saved by Ward, and the rebound cleared away. Boy, the scene is shifting. All of a sudden now there's a lot of play in the Carolina zone. That goal by Redmond has given the Avs a real lift here in the first period.
Well, Agostino, Mike, he's wide open, and then again, they've scored a goal this line. They've been on the ice for a goal. Takes his time, boom. Right? He looked calm in the scoring area. What a pass by Vancouver, though, across the seam through. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for. If the Avalanche are looking to assess this line, boy, they're getting a good look at a line playing pretty well right now.
Hurricanes to center ice. All Avalanche of late. They're now trailing 2-1. Had the last 4 shots on net. They've had some scoring chances. Out to center ice. Puck handled in the middle zone by Redmond, backing up into his own zone. A little pressure, feeds it across for Holden to take, and the Avalanche defenseman shifts it back into the Carolina zone. Avalanche attack. Landeskog to the corner for McKinnon. He is centering that second line with the injury to John Mitchell. McKinnon put back what he feels is his best position, center. Dumped into the corner, rolled back behind the net. Hayden, handoff to McKinnon. Able to give it back to Hayden with a little pressure on him from 7. Lobbed in towards Ward, and he'll steer the puck wide. Turned around the near side. Landeskog powering his way along the end boards. Tripped up. O'Reilly trying to send it back to the point, but McClement took it back for the Hurricanes. Chased by O'Reilly behind the Carolina net. Left behind the net. Carolina coming off the game, which they lost to Los Angeles. Regulation 3-2 loss. In that game, Ward with 36 saves in the game. Most by any Carolina goaltender this season. Got around the wall. Up the far side, back into the Carolina zone. Chipped off the glass. The puck floats high in the air out to center ice. Shane had it for a moment, gets a glove on it as it came up in the air. And sticking across the line by Dwyer. Dumps the puck in. Avalanche will get it back with 4.5 minutes to go in the first period. 2-1 lead for Carolina. Lyles and Gerby have scored for the Kings. And Zach Redmond for the Avalanche. Out at center ice, bouncing puck. Salusti checks against the wall. The puck comes across the mid zone out towards center ice. And picked up on the fly and brought in. Walking across, nice pass, the save, and a beauty by Berra. That was Stahl moving in. He got the pass, had a chance, but Berra big time save. It's a 2-1 hockey game in the first period in Denver. Time for Did You Know? Brought to you by Stevenson Automotive. Here is tonight's question. Who is the last defenseman with a 100-point season? Was it C1 Paul Coffey, C2 Al McGinnis, or C3 Brian Leach? Text your answer. Perhaps we'll get some tickets. We'll have the correct answer for you coming up during the third period. Well, a couple of defensemen have scored goals in this game. Lyles for the Hurricanes and Redmond for the Avalanche. Sandwich between that, Nathan Gerby with a goal for Carolina. 2-1 lead for the Kings. Just under 4 minutes left to go in the first period. Giveaway by Hurricanes. McKinnon has the puck. His shot gets stopped. Taps a bite by Sekera. Down the wing. Lindholm moves in. Stripped to the puck, but Stahl works it free into the corner. Lindholm pass in the slot. The give back to the point. Lyles down the slot into the corner. Chipped that way. Turned up the wall, and Landeskog for the Avalanche. Skates out to center. Sends it across. Behind the net, Talbot for the Avalanche looking to make a play. Tied up though. Yanked off the boards, out to center ice. Brought through the middle zone by Riley Nash coming in. Cuts across, pass, shot, score! He just got picked up playing his first game in a Kings uniform. Andre Straschel. And he gets his first goal of the season. Picked up on waivers, and has he paid dividends tonight?
Yeah, I mean, this has got to feel awfully good. You're with the Detroit Red Wings, and Mike, they're an organization that, you know, tries to really brings players along slowly. Played 13 games for the Detroit this year. Maybe it didn't quite work, but he fit in. He's a big body, and he's the kind of guy that, you know, I think Mike will help this club. And I think the Avalanche right now making a goaltender change. Calvin Pickard is coming into nets.
This is the second time, Peter, that this has happened. But the last time, remember in Ottawa, 2 minutes into the game, Pickard was hurt. And, Berra was hurt and Pickard came in. This is a different scenario here tonight. So 3 goals in 16 minutes and 50 seconds against Reto Berra. And here is the 4th Lake Erie monster, if you will, this week. Haven't been called up from Lake Erie.
And he'll be much more relaxed. Remember that first time in Ottawa, Mike? Yep. That morning he had woken up in Chicago, right, and was, you know, and flew out, and she expected to, you know, have some popcorn and watch the game. Boom. 2 minutes in, there we go.
All right, your team scoring summary. Straschel with the goal, Nash and Gleason with the assist. By the way, Peter, Straschel is from the Czech Republic. His name in Czech means not scary.
Well, but here, look at this behind him. They didn't know how to say it, so they just put new guy. That's
when it's tough to pronounce.
It's tough to pronounce. I'll let you do it, but I mean, that just feels so good to get started. He had only a couple of assists with Detroit.
Chance down low, poked away by Pickard. Carried out to center ice. So a goaltending change. Shot by Street, save made by Ward.
Did I ever tell you how I got my nickname Maxie?
Well, it seems pretty obvious.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Not like a real clever name there, Peter.
Yeah, but Tim Horton said when I first played in Buffalo, "Are you Max McNabb's son?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "I'll never remember your name, Peter. I'll just call you Max." And that was it. I was like, "Wow, Tim Horton's not going to remember my name. This is great." From that point on, it was Maxie.
And then did you get free donuts at Tim Hortons the rest of your life for that?
He forgot that.
He did, huh? Well, we got 2:41 to go in this one. Carolina leading 3-1. Two of their goal scorers getting their first goal of the season. After the draw, the puck back towards the point. Barry to the corner for McKinnon. Working his way along the boards. Pass gets tipped. And comes free for the Hurricanes. Out towards center ice. Right there at the blue line out in front of the penalty box area. Worked free. Picked up by Dwyer. Skates down the wing. Long shot. Pinballed off a couple of skates. Dwyer got it back for the Hurricanes. Shoots it around the boards. A goaltending change for the Avalanche. Second time this season Bear has come out of a game that he started, once because of an injury. The Avalanche have also made one other goaltending change this season, earlier this year in a game against Minnesota Wild. Varlamov lifted and pulled out of the game for Bear. Carried out towards center ice by the Hurricanes. Quick pass ahead for Lindholm. Elias Lindholm carrying the puck in, but beaten over the blue line. It's offside at Carolina.
Well, this Carolina club is very interesting. When you look down at the 12 players, Mike, that are playing forward for the Carolina Hurricanes, when you look at the numbers beside the letter beside, they have 9 Cs, 9 center icemen, 9 natural center icemen that have been moved around in different positions. For example, Skinner is a natural center iceman who's played on the wing his time in Carolina.
Puck pinballing around to the near side. Shift ahead by O'Reilly for Johnson. Dump to the corner. And pushed behind the net. Hainsey slips away from Duchesne, who is on that forecheck. Pass goes up the ice. Onside Hurricanes. Pass in the middle. Work to the near side wall by Nash. Skates behind the ash net. Looking to make a play. Got a little room along the wall. Back to the point. Shot around the wall. Behind the net. O'Reilly got it back for Colorado in the final minutes of the first period. Carolina leading 3-1. Lifted out to center ice on a bounce back into the Carolina zone. Sekera handling the puck. It's a sharp pass across for Falk. Sends it down the boards and into the Colorado end. Redmond tied up in the corner, taken away by the Hurricanes. Pass to the point for Falk. He shoots, and that hit to Insur. Carried up ice. Magazino carrying in. Drop pass. Pass across the middle. Broken up. But kept in by the Avalanche. Good work. And knocked down by Falk. Backhanded out to center ice. Kirby got one of the goals tonight for Carolina. Zips the puck around the board. Pickard out of the net to play. Pass up the wall. Magazino back behind him for the trailer. Redmond back for Magazino. Gets the puck in to the Hurricane zone. A bice for Alex Semin. Still without a goal this season. And there's the horn to signal the end of our first period of play. It's the Carolina Hurricanes, a team that has never won in the Pepsi Center. Peter, they lead 3-1 after 20 minutes.
Well, they played well. They came out hard. They were out shooting the Avalanche at 1.7-0. The Avalanche didn't get their first shot till the 8-minute mark. But the Avalanche, after Redmond's goal, really started to pick things up. That third one just sort of deflated the energy for the Avalanche. They got to regroup now and come out hard in this second period.
Has made a goaltending change into that third goal. And trail after one period 3-1. After our break, stay tuned on Altitude for the Toyota Intermission Report. We finished one period of play at Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado, and the Carolina Hurricanes lead the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 3-1. And when you look at, Peter, the defensive scoring list, there's Tyson Barrie at number 6.
And the thing about it, Mike, you have to understand your role inside a game. If you're up by a couple, Tyson Barrie has to sit back. Now you're down by a couple. So that opens things up. He's got to step up. He and Erik Johnson jump up into the play. And if he does that, Mike, then he starts to set the tone for the Avalanche. He can start to really bring energy.
All right, take a look, Peter, at our Lexus on the ice.
And this is what he can do. Watch number 4 in the middle of the patch. I mean, the way he skates up ice, and then he prepares himself. He was ready for a pass. It was a good rush for the Avalanche. But the steal, Mike, stepping up into the play, doesn't let the play come in. And then the stick handling at the end of that, oh, that was almost the prettiest goal of the year. And then last game, he's so confident in the skating, he's in the zone. It's a little turnover, but he stays with it and scores and gives the Avalanche a chance inside of that hockey game. And he knows right now, this is where players understand their role, and it's his role to get things going in this hockey game.
And we start our second period with Matt Duchene taking the face-off against Eric Staal. The puck is dropped and we're underway with the Canes leading 3-1. Johnson nails the puck deep into the Carolina zone. Falk back to get it. Rattled against the boards by O'Reilly. Duchene jumped in as well, but Staal comes away with the puck. Pass to Lucy. Sends it across to the defenseman Falk. And he'll shoot it in to the Avalanche zone. Johnson back to get it. Comes free. Rolls to the corner. Briere back to get it. Scooped it around the end board. And a collision in the corner, and the puck comes free. Duchene skates out the center ice, starting to pick up some speed. The poke check from behind. Bounced ahead. Carried in by the Canes. Nash out of the corner with the puck. Duchene on him. Frees up the puck. Gerby scooped it up. Pass back towards the point for Gleason. He shoots. And a save made by Pickard. And he jumps on the loose puck in a hurry and covers for a faceoff.
Well, you know, a big reaction from the Avalanche bench. They know that you can't give them one more. The Avalanche this season only twice have scored 4 goals in regulation in any single game. So, Mike, it's a club that's hurting scoring goals right now, so they can't give up any more inside of this hockey game. So, Mike, just one quick note. Brett Belmore, who was hit by McLeod, Mike, in that first period down to your left, came by, shook his head, and said, no, he can't go. So they're down to 5 defensemen, Carolina, for this game.
He's a big guy, too. Their biggest defenseman. Lyles chasing the puck behind the Carolina net. Comes up with it. Gives to Gleason. Up ice for Nash and out to center ice. Cross ice for Gerby. Skates in. Shoots the puck around the boards. It winds the far side, but scooped up and bumped into the corner by Victor Rask, number 49 for Carolina. Avalanche get it back. Pass across for Landeskog. Joined on the rush by McKinnon. Slammed his stick down. He wanted that pass. Got it and then dumped it in. Out to center ice comes Ron Hainsey through the red line. Shoots the puck. Got tipped. Johnson ends up with it for Colorado. 11 shots for the Canes. For the Avs, 7. Center ice comes Ben Street into the Carolina zone. Shot kicked out by Ward. Up to the near side boards. In the slot, scooped up by Skinner. And behind the back pass across for Semin. Dumped into the corner.
Michael, we see a little bit of a shift. Defensive pairings for the Avalanche. You got Erik Johnson and Tyson Barrie out there together.
Both of whom, Peter, so willing to get involved offensively and skate with the puck and jumping up into the play.
We'll see who comes when Barrie comes
who gets it first, right?
Exactly.
The puck lobbed down the slot towards the corner, bounced back up and carried to center ice by Talbot. Tipped it across into the Carolina zone, and he's first to arrive at the puck. Great hustle from Talbot through the crease with a chance. Getting pinches in, trying to center. Bouncing puck behind the net in the Carolina zone. Gannon still working deep in the zone, centered out in front. Got it back, still behind the net. Nate Gannon still with the puck. Skates behind the cage to the corner. Pass back to the blue line for Cleach. His shot deflects. And a nice play by Redmond. Kept it in with some pressure. Shot gets blocked. And McClement going shoulder to shoulder with Redmond. And a hit by McLeod frees up the puck. What energy from this line. McLeod shoots. There's a chance for Cleach. But could not get it towards the net. Back to center ice. Shot ahead by McClement. Blocked. What an effort there by that line. And Gannon as well.
Mike, that's one of the reasons why Patrick Roy, all the shifting of lines, did not touch that fourth line, if that's what you want to call it, because they give you the same effort night in, night out.
As well, Peter, you got to love that Nate Gannon getting involved there, too.
Well, you're going to see that with the Avalanche now. You know, they got to create some offense.
Shot towards the net. Pickard makes the save. Centered back across. All the way back to the point. Gleason snaps to the cross. Falk shoots. And the puck slowed up. Then go off the boards. Back to the point. Falk with it again. Tees it up. Makes the pass. Down low for Stahl. Centered in front. And it's tipped wide of the net. Back around to the near side. Grabbed and skidded out to center ice by Briere. Joined on the rush by Duchesne and O'Reilly. Briere with a trailer. And it slipped away from Hayden. Keeps it in play, though. Behind the net, Briere. Over towards Duchesne. Going to power his way along the end boards. Comes out from behind the net. Lob pass back for Holden. Shot blocked in front of the net. Waved away. Chipped off the boards and out by the Kings.
Like that last pass by Briere really showed his vision. Hayda was way back, and there was a lot of bodies between Briere and Hayda, but he found it.
McKinnon digs to the puck and along the boards. Gives to Iginla. Works his way into the slot. Backhand drive. Block. Loose puck. Bouncing around. Nash banks the puck off the boards. Back out to center. Chased down by the Avs. Zach Redmond. Great long pass. He had the man open, but just overshot. Landeskog. Back around the wall out to center ice. Redmond scooped it across. Back into the Kane zone. Sekera. Bouncing puck to center ice. At the red line. Flipped ahead into the Colorado end. Smacked to the corner by Nash. And the puck rolls free. With it along the far side. Canes walking right out in front. Backhand at the puck. Rebound shot. It did not go in. It didn't go in. Unbelievable. Wow, that was close.
Mike, you probably had a better angle because the whole Carolina bench stood up. I have to ask them to sit down. Guys, sit down for crying out loud.
Get out of my way.
I'm trying to see.
You're blocking my game.
Comes across. Oh my goodness, Mike! He reached back and he got a glove on it.
He did.
He got a
made
glove
the
on
save.
it. Yep. It didn't just hit him. He reached back right there. And then he stopped it with his stick.
Yep. He saved a goal for sure. 7. Down the slot with a pass. Skinner turns and shoots. Had it blocked. Talbot picks up the puck. Races to center. Dumped in. Pickard, who came in relief at the 16:50 mark. In place of the starter, Reto Berra. Outstanding save. Shot by Rask. Another save made by Pickard. Puck around the wall. Held in. Hainsey shot. Missed the net. McLeod for the Avalanche. Gets to the puck. And slug it up the wall. Comes free. Skinner rolled it back towards the point. Held in. Hainsey snaps the puck around. Stopped to the half boards by 7. Back to Falk with a big drive. And the save made by Pickard. And he'll hold it for a face-off. What a save here by Pickard on this right there. Keeps it a 3-1 hockey game. Hurricanes lead it 3-1, but let's check in Peter McNabb down on the bench with defenseman Nate Guinness. Peter?
Nate, for a defenseman like yourself, you had the great pinch in, you put pressure. When you're down by a couple goals, is that what we're expecting from the Avalanche defense?
Yeah, you know, we're going to try everything here. You know, we're not getting to those hard areas enough. You know, we got to battle more down low, and you know, it's a drill we've been doing every day in practice, just kind of puck protection, and we got to get it to the net, and we got to, you know, get some greasy goals.
Hey, thanks much. Appreciate it.
Oh, we're going to have a penalty.
Duchesne kept moving the legs, and the defenseman came across.
Carolina penalty. Well, no,
and took out Duchesne, Mike.
65 interference.
And Mike, you know, very obviously, you know, Carolina doesn't take many penalties right there. You see, Mike, you just can't do that anymore. That was we talked about it enough. In the old days, that was fine, but you just can't step in front and impede a player like that. But here it is, Mike. Here's a chance to get within 1 goal against the Carolina club. Mike, they don't score a lot.
O'Reilly broke his stick right at the face-off. He is raced over to the Avs bench. And that gives Sekera a chance for the Hurricanes to dump the puck into the Avalanche zone. Penalty on Ron Hainsey for interference at 6:23. Second power play chance of the game for the Avalanche. Onside Avs. Briere with the puck. Dropped in the corner for O'Reilly. Sends it around the wall for the waiting Matt Duchesne. Back to the point for Barry. To Duchesne. Down low for O'Reilly. Shot saved by Ward. Loose puck grabbed by the Avs. It's Briere with it. Back high for Tyson Barrie. Shot through traffic. Saved by Ward. Bouncing puck. Gives a chance. And covered by Ward.
Well, as this play goes along, we're going to watch at the end of it Nick Holden. This is O'Reilly trying to force one in from the side. Good effort, strong pressure by the Avalanche. But inside of it, look who's down low. There's Nick Holden. I mean, the Avalanche trying to put pressure what they're saying there is, okay, you know Barry's got the top part by the blue line. Get bodies down low. Get some more pressure down low against Carolina.
So far, 3 shots on this power play for the Avalanche. Easy in the box. Hands on the power play against a team that simply does not take a lot of penalties. And we didn't have many penalties called in the last game with the Washington Capitals. The Caps have the only power play all game long. Caps did not get a single power play chance, Peter, on Thursday night.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't happen very often, especially with a club like Washington. I mean, there were 68 hits in the game. There was just, I mean, there were collisions all over this. I mean, big time collisions, and great discipline by Washington in that game and the Avalanche.
40 seconds left in Hainsey's penalty. Landeskog takes the puck over the line, gives to McKinnon, throws to the boards, pass back to the point for Johnson. Tightrope in the blue line, shot whistled wide. On the near side, Redmond is pinched in. Thrown around the wall. McKinnon, pass broken up the wall. Nice play by Johnson at the blue line to hold it in. Gives to Redmond, back to Johnson. Top of the circle pass. McKinnon down low. Shot, save, rebound. It's free to the side of the net. Redmond took it back for the Avalanche. Gave it to Landeskog. Back to Johnson. Shot tipped wide of the net. Chance. And that block deflected wide. Landeskog in the slot. Here comes Johnson. He shoots. He's got it. Eric Johnson got it through and in. Just the power play expired. The Avalanche are back within 1. They trail 3-2.
My guy had a perfect angle on this, and the Avalanche 4 times in a row stayed away from the slap shot from the guy at the points and used the wrist shot. And finally, on this one, Johnson just pulls it by the guy's ankle, and just the puck keeps going. And again, you see the Avalanche, good pressure, lots of bodies down low. You see Carolina, they collapse everybody down low. You see Johnson right there. You can see he had a little opening. That was a perfect shot.
Number 6, Eric Johnson.
And the goal came just 2 seconds after the power play expired, but Hainsey was just coming out of the penalty box. So, in essence, a power play goal just won't count that way. And that makes it a 3-2 hockey game. Johnson from McKinnon and Landeskog. And for Nathan McKinnon, continues to pile up some points.
Like that now ties him with Tyson Barrie for the team lead with points with 14. Landeskog now assists in back-to-back games.
Duchesne out in front, he shoots and hit the crossbar. And for Gabe Landeskog, for me to point out, he picks up that assist, his 5th of the season. Tomorrow is his 22nd birthday. In the slot, shot by Briere, gets blocked. And worked out to center ice by Skinner, waved away from him by Barrie. Pass off the boards. Set up ahead for Stahl, ahead for Skinner. He's got a man down the slot, there's the pass, but it was tipped. And iced by Duchesne. We got a whistle. Carolina leading by a goal, but the Avs, big goal here in the second period.
I had a good talk with Matt Duchesne yesterday just about, you know, feels he's playing well. He's just getting the best save of the game is made by the goaltender seemingly every night, or he hits the post. And this is a tough time as far as keeping confidence, keep playing the same way. Because like you and I have seen it, he's playing well.
He sure is. Points-wise, 6 goals, 7 assists. And there'll be a change for the Avalanche. They put a different line out. Out comes Ben Street's line, the monster line, if you will. The 3 players called up yesterday from Lake Erie.
It was funny, Mike. I was talking to some of the trainers from the Avalanche who've been around here for a while now. Mark Miller was saying that he can't remember a time when 3 players were called up on the same day. and have to get all the equipment and reset the locker room and all of that stuff. But the Avalanche still have 9 guys, 6 on the IR. I mean, it's just been amazing.
There's 9 players total, Peter, that are out right. 9 that are out with injuries. Here's the list.
And you've got Tanguay, Semyon Varlamov, John Mitchell, who did not go on the IR. They're all still in the roster, but injured. The other 6 all are on the injured reserve list and in various stages, recovering from their injuries. So it is just a laundry list of talented guys not in the lineup for the Avalanche.
We were told this morning for Mitchell, hurt his leg at practice yesterday. It's a day-to-day situation. Pass comes across for Lyles. Down the middle. Shot gets blocked. Redmond got in the way. Simmons still looking for that first goal. Spins. Gets a little bit of room to the point. One-timer. Missed the net. Falk, which snuck in for the point. Centered, but that hit a skate. Ricocheted out to center. Lyles hustling back for the Hurricanes. Both teams changing things up. Pass up ice. Wide of the net. Drop for McClement. Back to the point for Ainsey. Slides it across. Sekera. Is the shot cut off by Bear. He's got a man going up the ice. The pass all broken up. Simmons fires the pass across. Stripped away by Iginla for Colorado. Here's the puck behind the net. Barry lifts the puck to center ice. Brought in by McKinnon. Cutting wide. Comes into the corner. Back behind the net. Hand off to Iginla. To the point for Gennon. Shoots. Missed the net. Back up the wall for Barry. Circle behind the net. Shots are now even at 15. For the Avalanche, 8 shots in this period already. They had just 7 in the first period.
What the Avalanche want to do, Carolina's down to 5 defensemen. You want all the pressure to be on them. You want that puck down low. You want to make it work. Like, it might not pay off in this period, but it will in the third period.
Carolina making line changes, and White was all by himself. Gave away the puck, poked out to center ice. Canes get it back. Gleason handoff, quick pass up ice, tipped by Dwyer as he heads to the bench. Stahl got to it, plays it across. Lucy shoots to the nets, and Pickard, who's been very good since coming in relief of the starter Reto Bear, makes the glove save. Erik Johnson, right at the end of a power play, has made this a 1-goal game. These lucky fans upgraded from the Ram Trucks fan zone to lower bowl seats, courtesy of Ram Trucks. You can purchase tickets in section 362 for your chance to win and upgrade to the official truck of your Colorado Avalanche. Face off in the Colorado zone. 3-2 lead for the Hurricanes, but the Avs have the only goal here in the second period. Erik Johnson from Nathan McKinnon and Gabe Landeskog at 8:25, right after a power play expired. Sent wide by Duchesne, bouncing around to the near wing. Here to Lucy, the puck across the rink, punched ahead by Gleason of Carolina, keeping the Colorado in. Hayda shields the puck. Makes a pass, and jumping up is Johnson for the Avalanche. Skating in, moving wide, backhander saved by Ward, and the Hurricanes get to the puck. And Johnson somehow came back to the blue line and got a hold of it. Everywhere on the ice. When he starts playing like that, Peter, he can just be so tough to play against.
Yeah, Mike, it's intimidating because he's so big. He's so big and strong. And Patrick Roy said yesterday, when asked about Erik Johnson's play, he said the more we give him, as far as ice time, more responsibility we give him, the better he likes it, and he's taking it all right now. And, this is just, a big, strong guy. This is what we showed you last game. And when you're looking at this, similar to St. Louis and Colorado as far as goals and assists, it's the physical nature of how he is playing the game.
One-timer by Barry is caught by Ward. Right off the face-off, fed to the high slot for Barry with that slap shot in the one-timer.
The Avalanche defensemen practice this every single day at the end of practice. They must take thousands of shots before during the course of the season. The number one thing that you can see them always trying to do is hit the net. Try to make something happen, a rebound, whatever.
Another win on the draw, another shot goes wide. This is a Carolina team, Peter, that's good on the face-offs. And they are second in the NHL at 53%. McClement number 4, but the Avs are winning some draws.
Yeah.
Our luxury has an address. Cooney Lexus invites you to see the full line of Lexus all-weather drive sedans and luxury utility vehicles for 2014. They're available at Cooney Lexus of Greenwood Village and at Colorado Springs.
Here's just a little number for you. Ben Street played 1 game for the Avalanche. He was in Montreal. He was a perfect 8 for 8 on faceoffs, and he's been that guy, Mike, winning these draws right here. And
that was a preseason game.
That was a preseason game. But, you know, those are things that coaches remember. You got somebody that can win some faceoffs for you. That's pretty nice to have on your resume.
Well, right now, Peter, the faceoffs are even, each at 18 wins. Carolina leading this game 3-2. Barry blocks the shot. Chipped around the boards. Waiting along the far side is Rask. Checked by Johnson, and he just simply stole the puck away. Smooth play from Erik Johnson. He's having a terrific game. Carried up ice by Landeskog. Stripped to the puck. Hurricanes come the other direction. Carried in by 7. Threw it back behind his back. Avalanche get it back. Carried to center by Iginla. Chip it down the boards. Lyle's got in his way. Scooped the puck behind the net. Continued around the far side for Rask to take. Reached the red line. Dumps it in. And Redmond for the Avalanche. First to the puck. Banged around the wall. Landeskog. Excuse me. Iginla with the puck. Shoots it across the rink for Landeskog. Dumped it in. And Gleason for the Hurricanes back to get it. 5:40 remaining in the period. Hainsey fires a pass ahead, deflects. Holden shot it out. Ricochet back in. Quick pass up ice and a poke check. Took it away. Back for the Hurricanes, causing the play to be offside on the Avalanche. In Denver, Colorado, Carolina leads the Avalanche 3-2.
Well, Cam Ward, who in 2006 won the Conn Smythe Trophy, won a Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes, and Mike for many years untouchable. Well, then last year didn't go well. They fired their coach, they fired the general manager. Everything was shifted for Carolina, Mike, and everything pointed towards Cam Ward being traded. And then all of a sudden in September, everything shifted, and they said, no, you're going to be our guy. And Ward was all set. He thought for sure that, yep, it's going to happen. Well, it isn't. He still remains their goaltender, having a solid start to this season.
Against the Avalanche in his career, he's 3-2-1 with a 2.97 goals against average. After the puck in the corner, Redmond for the Avalanche. Ward free, taken away by the Hurricanes. Pass back to the point. Secure. Slaps it back down the wall. Circles the far side. Leach falls down. The puck underneath him. Glavin checks Falk. And the puck still against the wall, comes free. Leach chipped it back around behind the net. Barry's got it for Colorado. Lob the pass out to center, knocked down with the glove. Lindholm got it, and they're calling a hand pass on the Carolina Hurricanes. Please join us again Tuesday nights. Avalanche, believe it or not, they're going on the road. They'll play the Arizona Coyotes, the newly named Arizona Coyotes. We'll start our coverage at 6:30. Coyotes on altitude. How many times are we going to say Phoenix on Tuesday night, Peter?
Oh, the over-under for me is about 22.
I'll go period?
You know, yeah, I'll go no, Arizona. You know, I'll just stumble my way through. I'm just calling them the Coyotes.
That's right, all night. Just
it's
the Coyotes.
Those guys' names that I can't pronounce, they never touch the puck. They just,
just the new guy.
Just the new guy. That's his nickname. Apparently, that's what he wants to be called.
Hainsey shoots the puck in, but the Hurricanes are offside. 4:22 to go in the second period.
Well, since the Avalanche scored that almost power play goal, make it 3-2, things have calmed down for both clubs. And it's a situation now that you just, like, this is 21 games. We just passed that quarter pool for the Avalanche. You know, there is pressure building for points. They need points, they need wins.
Hurricanes playing in game 20 for them. Both teams with 6 wins this season. And glove by Pickard. Peter, it's been a funny year for the Hurricanes in terms of what they've done. No wins in their first 8 games. Then they went 5-0-1. No regulation losses the next 6, but now they're on a streak of 0-4-1. They're down to center ice, or 1-4, excuse me, in their last 5 games. Dumped in. Avalanche get it back. 3:40 to go in the period. Flick to the corner. Hayter pass out to center ice. And jumps over everybody. And it results in an icing call against the Colorado Avalanche.
Mike, you know, this is one of those funny ones. A lot of fans here in Colorado don't know that much about the Carolina Hurricanes. But there's a great history between these two clubs. When Carolina was in Hartford and when the Avalanche were in Quebec, they were in the old, what was called the Adams division back then, with Montreal, Boston, Buffalo, and what a tough division that was.
Saved by Pickard. Threw the puck behind the net. Roped around the boards. It comes out to center. Gleason chipped it back into the Avalanche end to allow the Canes to get onside. This Avalanche team have not lost to the Carolina Hurricanes here in Denver. They lost to Hartford back in '96, but have never lost in the Pepsi Center to this team. Shot kicked away by Pickard. To back behind the net. Scooped away. O'Reilly knocked it down, but it was played with a high stick. That's the reason for the whistle.
And Mike, just getting back to the Adams division, it was great. The names that were in the buildings back then, the Montreal, the Forum. The Boston Garden, it was the Gardens. In Buffalo, it was the Odd. In Quebec, it was Le Colisée. In Hartford, it was the Mall. It was inside of a mall. That was the nickname for the building. Where are they playing tonight? The Mall.
Well, I remember that, you know, our first year, Peter, the Avalanche had the Hartford Whalers there in Hartford, and hotel was there in the mall, and then just simply walk through the mall, do a little shopping on your way into the rink.
Absolutely.
Back to pick up the puck, Nate Gedden. Slide to the cross. And Hartford, with an American Hockey League team, they've had one for quite a long time and doing very well.
They're the Rangers American Hockey League team.
But there was a long time team there in Hartford with the WHA, the New England Whalers. There's a lot of history there in that town, but Carolina, that's the place where they won a Stanley Cup for the franchise. Chipped along the near side, blocked, carried in by Landeskog. Hand off to McGinley, back to Landeskog. He turns and shoots, but missed the net. Holden behind the cage for McKinnon. He got tripped. That'll be a penalty, delayed penalty. Shot saved by Ward. Rebound. Touched by the Canes, and another power play coming up for the Avs with 1:50 left in the period. As McKinnon was tripped behind the net.
And this is just good hard work. The Avalanche drew this penalty. Some penalties, Mike, are just silly penalties. This is one where you're just working hard. You get the bodies down there. There's Holden, Mike, keeping the puck in the zone. The defenseman doing a nice job, and they draw that penalty.
Justin Falk for tripping at 18-10. The Avalanche on the power play. Now they are officially 0 for 2, but that goal by Johnson really was a power play goal, as Hainsey was just coming out of the penalty box and was not involved in the play at all when Johnson scored the second goal of the game for the Avalanche. Through center, McKinnon, stick handle his way through the neutral zone. He moves through a check, pass back up the wall for Landeskog, changes positions with McKinnon at the half boards, gets the pass from Landeskog, down low for Iginla, starts out in front, blocked, and it's covered at the side of the net by the goaltender Cam Ward.
Well, the Avalanche, Mike, you talk about funny little sequences. The first 6 games of the year, they went 1 for 22. Then the next 6, they scored 7 goals and 22 opportunities. Now they're in a little bit of a funk where they are 1 for 25 if you make this a game, the last 9 games. So it's been a roller coaster power play for the Avalanche.
They get on the power play again. Justin Falk, who's playing his 200th National Hockey League game tonight, sits in the penalty box, tripping Nathan McKinnon. And we get to the last minute of the period. A give at the red line for Duchesne. He chases the puck down into the corner. Stops, feeds back to the point for Barry. Top of the circle pass for Duchesne. Below the circle for O'Reilly. Moves to the top of the circle, gives it back to Duchesne. Pass in front and tipped wide of the net. Back to the point for Barry. That's doing a nice job holding it inside. Tip into the corner. Briere swings the puck around. And continue to hold on to the puck. Comes free on the boards and fired down the ice. Pickard stops the puck. 22 seconds to go in the period. The Avs still looking for their first shot on net. Here's a rush for Johnson. He carries the puck in, pass across to the corner for Landeskog. Shot! And it goes off of Ward. Hits the screen, and the puck has gone out of play with 7 seconds left in the period.
Mike, when you're 6'3", 235 pounds, and you're coming down the ice like this, you're going to get the blue line. I mean, he just takes off, and you're going to watch. No one's getting close, Mike, because he's going to run you over. I mean, you come at him hard, so he gets the blue line now because he's so big, and if you don't get him pure, he's going to skate right around you or through you.
Landeskog taking the face-off, but the Canes won it. Shot around the wall, kept in by O'Reilly. Pass. Here's one last chance. And it deflects wide at the buzzer. And that ends the second period. The only goal scored during the second period belongs to Erik Johnson. So he's made it a 1-goal game going to the third period, Peter.
And much better period for the Colorado Avalanche. They had some intensity. Every line had a purpose, and they got themselves back within 1 in this hockey game.
And Pickard coming in relief, doing the job during the second period. Didn't allow another goal. So our score at the end of 2, it's Carolina 3, Colorado 2. Stay tuned for the Subaru Intermission Report. Colorado Avalanche Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Groove Subaru. On Broadway or online at grooveauto.com. Pepsi, proud to support the Colorado Avalanche. Pepsi, live for now. And by the Ford Explorer. It's time you did your exploring. Ford Explorer, go further. Avalanche picked up a goal during the second period and at times really outplayed Carolina. Now they're within 1 as we go to the third period, trailing 3-2. And part of the reason, Peter, that they are back in this game has been the play of Erik Johnson. He was outstanding during the second period.
Yeah, his buddies call me, Jay, and he has been flying tonight. And he's been flying all season, but this is a great example we talked about in that second period. Watch how he gets the blue line when he steps right through. Right now the defensemen are going, you try and stand up on that, and physically it's hard to do. And here's he just Bobby Orr this one. He just took off. You see that Carolina player just stopped skating because he knows he's not going to catch him. And then Bond, this is a real nice play. Pulls it back. Rich shot. The Avalanche, I was counting, Mike, in that period. Tyson Barrie had a couple of slap shots. But then, Mike, there were 5 other times for the Avalanche where they wristed that puck just to make sure that they get it through.
There's still 10 seconds left in the Avalanche power play as we begin our third period. If the Avs score the third, you score with Subway. Go to your local Subway restaurant tomorrow for any regular 6-inch sub for just $3 after 3 o'clock. Dumped in, stopped behind the net by Pickard. Grabbed by Johnson. Here he goes again. Pass across for Landeskog. Chipped it in. And we're back to even strength, 5-on-5. Canes killed another penalty. They iced the puck. There's the whistle, and we are 25 seconds into the third period with the Hurricanes leading by a goal.
And for the Colorado Avalanche, like right now, you want to push the pace. So for Patrick Roy, even though the one line was only out there for 25 seconds, you get a fresh line out here right now because you got a little bit of a tired Carolina group.
And to get the puck after the draw. Duchesne cutting across, has it again. Dropped in the corner. Zakara trying to push the puck past Duchesne. Duchesne grabbed it. Pass to O'Reilly. Back to the point. Shot gets blocked. 3-on-2 for the Hurricanes coming the other way. They slow down. The puck dropped in the corner. Toulouse bounces off of Johnson. Moves the puck to the point for Gleason. He shoots wide of the net. Up the wall. Duchesne clears the puck to center ice. Stahl gets it back for Hurricanes. Pass back into the Carolina zone for Gleason. Through the middle and a tip by Kirby. Sends the puck deep into the Avalanche end. Pickard sends it around the wall. Dropped in the corner. Calvin Pickard came in at the 16:50 mark of the first period, replacing the starter. Vincenzo trying to center, but it rolled off the end of his stick. That monster line comes back out for the Avalanche. Magazino, Vincenzo, and Street comprise the line. Just called up from Lake Erie. Pass off the boards ahead. Gerby cuts in, pass down the slot, turning to the near side wall. Back to the blue line, chips across. Strussel shoots off the glove, knocked down in the high slot, picked up. Shot by Sekera, blocked to the far side. Back to the point. Sekera winds, reloads, shoots, dribbles to the net, and it comes banking into the near side boards. Held in by Falk. Surrounded with the puck towards the corner, and it's squeezed free along the end boards. Played by Gennon. Bank back in front of the net. Gennon races into the corner. Canes get it to the point for Falk. Shoots it wide to the Avs net. Shot down by Barry. Plays it up the wall and kept in by Carolina. And waved away and sent back the other way by Agazino into the Carolina zone. Back to get it is Justin Falk. Makes the pass across. Banks hard down the ice. No icing. Pickard leaves it behind the net. There to ice by Redmond. Threads a pass through for McLeod. Dumped in wide. Ward bats the puck to the corner. Shipped up the board. That gets blocked. And the clearing attempt by Seven. Comes out to center. Shot off of Seven to the blue line. McLeod's got the puck. Coming wide. Sends it in front. There's a chance. It comes loose. Backhand try. And it's stopped by Ward.
Well, for the Colorado Avalanche, when they brought up these three guys and they knew they'd been playing together, this is what they want. Right down the middle of your screen. Agazino driving towards the net. Right here. Mike, right there. Going to the net, causing trouble. And Mike, they did a nice job. There was a little bit of pressure from Carolina. But Vincenzo right there, Mike, you could see. I mean, this guy knows how to play hockey. He's been in the right spot every time defensively.
Face off in the Carolina end. Canes come to center. Elias Lindholm tied up along the boards. Stahl frees up the puck. Salusi. And it's taken away by Jan Hayden of the Avalanche. Rims it around to the near corner. Johnson spun it back up the far side for Iginla. Flings the pass up the ice, and the Avalanche on the move. It's McKinnon cutting in. Saved by Ward. Rebound. Scooped up by the Hurricanes. Stahl rips the puck around, but it's McKinnon who's waiting for it. And his pass comes across. Tips to the near side boards. Flat behind the net. Iginla stole it away to the corner. Sekera racked up in the corner by Iginla. Landeskog's pass picked off. Quick pass up ice for Lindholm. Trying to reach the red line so he can dump it in. And he paid a price as Hayden knocked him down.
Big stand-up check by Hayden.
Pass comes to center for Briere. Gains the line. To the corner for O'Reilly. Going to put it behind the net for Duchesne. Taken away by Carolina. Pass out to center ice. Hainsey dumps the puck in. Freed up in the corner. Canes have got it. Played back towards the point. Falk shoots it around the wall behind the net. Matt going to chip it out in front. Still scrambled back behind the cage. Comes free. Hurricanes have got it. Played off the back of the net. Cut off by Gennon, and then Barry takes away the puck. Skating out to center ice. Reaches the red line. Throws the puck down the ice. But we got a whistle.
Well, if you're a young defenseman, just watch Hayden's timing. Stop, bang, boom. I mean, nothing dirty. It's just a pure hockey hit right there. And here's a nice play by Iginla. He threw that up to an area with speed. And McKinnon, well, one thing he's got speed. And he just took off on that play. Iginla started it, though, with a real nice read, real nice pass.
Face off in the neutral zone, 15:07 to go in the third. Hurricanes win the face-off. Pass out to center. Played ahead. Slapped by McClement. Into the Avalanche end. Bouncing along the end boards to the corner. Total free. Whip back along the end boards for Dwyer. Holden on him. To the point. Slid across near point. Gleason tipped towards the net. Goes wide. And a big pile up behind the net. Works back towards the point. Wiles with a drill of a shot. And it goes off the side of the net. Short in the corner, wrapped up by Dwyer. Makes a pass. Redmond gets it, trying to launch it out to center ice. Cut off. Lyles scored the first goal of the game back in the first period. Puck down the ice. It was touched, so no icing. Behind the net for Redmond. Shot around the wall. Canes hold it in. Puck circles around to the near side. Knocked down Skinner in the slot. Shot. And again, it's sent it wide. Shot. Another save made by Pickard. Played off the wall at the center ice. It'll bounce into the Carolina zone. On the fly, Sekera. Up the wall and down the ice. They say no icing. Play continues on. Again, pass behind his own net. Barry shoots it out to center. Street chasing. But Gleason gets there first. Plays along the end boards for Hainsey. Up ice. Lucy turns back. To the cross. Good pressure by the Avalanche. Canes trying to get out of their own zone. Tipped in. Finds Lucy. Pickard sends the puck to the far side wall. Bouncing puck in front of the net. Quick pass up the ice. And Iginla gains the line. Pulls up. Inside the blue line. Down the wall. Chopped at by Landeskog. Goes to the corner for McKinnon. Still with the puck, hand off to Landeskog to the far point. Johnson looking for an opening to shoot. Still with the puck. Stops, turns again, still with it. He shoots and hit Hainsey in front of the net. Plays up the wall. Landeskog's got it. Lost the puck. Shipped out to center ice. And batted ahead by the Canes as Lindholm shoots the puck in. That was one-on-one with Hayda again. It was Hayda who leveled him last time. Into the corner comes Briere. Back behind the net. Comes free. And sent out to center, but a tip. Knocks the puck into the Colorado end. Holden keeps the puck to center ice. Bouncing back to the Carolina blue line. Fulton finds Nash. Cross for Lyles. Skates out to center. Rink-wide pass. And Gerby comes the puck into the Avalanche end. Nash along the boards. Duchesne staying with him. Frees up the puck. Gets it to Redmond. Pass up ice for Briere. Turns. Poke check. But then Duchesne dumps the puck in. Gets a line change for Colorado. Hainsey behind the net. A little harassment from O'Reilly. Centering the puck. Is tipped to the near side boards. Vinsur shoots it to the corner. Oh, there's going to be a penalty. It's another one on Carolina.
Yep.
Wow. Another power play coming up for the Avalanche when we come back. Let's answer our Did You Know question, brought to you by Stevenson Automotive. Back in the first period, we asked you who was the last defenseman with a 100-point season. The correct answer, New York Rangers' Brian Leetch.
Mike, way back in 91-92. And Al McGinnis the year before that had done it, and Paul Coffey, but only 14 times. Mike, it speaks volumes of the game and how it's changed. I remember when Bobby Orr broke in. One year, Mike, he won the scoring championship in the National Hockey League with 120 points. The next highest scoring defenseman had 44. There was a 76-point difference.
When we left you, a penalty was being called on Brad Malone. Hit Tomas Vinsur in the head with a check, so that results in a penalty. And another power play chance for the Avalanche, their fourth of the game. Had 5 shots in their power play. Glove save by Ward. Well, let's look back, Peter, at that penalty and why the Avs have a power play.
Brad Malone, of course, 32 games last year. Boom, he just targets the head. And anytime you do that, the referees are going to make that call. Brad's done a terrific job talking to the people in Carolina. Mike doesn't have any points, but for example, last game, one of the LA Kings, McNabb, take a run at somebody, and he just jumped right in there, had a fight with him, and you know, just he's stepping up for his teammates as he did last year for the Avalanche.
Power play continues for Colorado. Pass. Side of the net for Iginla. Round for McKinnon back to Johnson. Far side for Redmond. Back to Johnson. McKinnon one-timer got blocked. And the puck ricochets out to center. 1:20 left in the Malone penalty. Carried in by Johnson. He gets wide behind the net. Rolls it around. Near side half boards for McKinnon. Reverses back down the wall. Cuts across the middle. Makes the pass. Shot down low. And it's tipped wide. Back to the corner for O'Reilly. Up the wall. Back high in the slot. Pass over to Johnson. Shot to traffic. Glove save made by Ward.
Mike, you almost get a sense you're starting to feel a little frustration for the Avalanche right now. It's close, but it's just not there for the Avs. I mean, they're making a lot of real good plays. Just bounces over. Johnson had a good rush down the ice. Right, this is an important last 10 minutes of this hockey game. There's no question about it for the Avalanche.
Avalanche converge along the boards. Do a nice job of holding it in. Slapped up the near side, banged up the wall. Again, Avs, boy, they've been really good this season. They hold that puck in at the blue line as well as anybody. Zakara gave it away for Bear. Pass in front and diving on top of it. The puck comes free. Still loose at the side of the net. And picked up by the Avalanche to the point for Barry. Far side for Duchesne. Gives to O'Reilly. And really moving the puck around. Barry with it. To the near side wall for Holden. Behind the net for Duchesne. Centered in front for Briere. He's tied up. And the puck is cleared but not out. Avalanche hold it in. Briere's pass slowed up but kept in by the Avs. Down the middle. O'Reilly shot saved by Ward on Duchesne. And Nash backhands it out of the zone. And Malone comes out of the penalty box. The power play is done. And the Avalanche 0 for 4 tonight. Chance, and Pickard makes the save. 3-2 lead for the Carolina Hurricanes after they killed that penalty. First 5:10 of the game, Carolina had 2 goals. First it was his old friend John Michael Lyles, and then Nathan Gerby got it through a pack. Zach Redmond banked one off a skate. It was 2-1, but then that was the goal that got Reto Berra pulled. In came Calvin Pickard onto the second period. Only goal scored, Eric Johnson, right after the power play expired. And that made it a 3-2 game, and that's where we're at right now in the third period with 9.5 minutes to go in the third. Scramble for the puck in front of the penalty box area. Rolls in. Scooped with a backhand by McKinnon into the Carolina zone. Lyles back to get the puck. Makes the pass. A dangerous play, but Stahl's got it. He shoots off a body. Out to center for Skinner. Skates in. He shoots and gloved by Pickard. He'll hold it for a faceoff. Why should you hug an angler? Proceeds from fishing and hunting licenses go towards conserving Colorado's natural beauty. So give them a hug, say thanks, and go to huganangler.com to learn more. Face off in the Avalanche zone. Shots even at 25. Avalanche next game against the Coyotes on Tuesday. Shot by Gerber, dribbled through, centered out in front. Back to the point. Gleason with a chance. Deflects off the body. Barry for the Avalanche. Up ice. Insert. Pass through the middle for Street. Sends it over the line. Talbot cutting across. Dumped it out in front. But it was tipped wide of the net. And the Hurricanes couldn't get out of the zone. Street shot blocked. And ricocheted out to center. Avalanche next home game, night before Thanksgiving, against the Chicago Blackhawks. As Ward keeps the puck in the glove for a faceoff.
Well, Max Talbot coming out and just driving to the net. And, you know, it's one of those things you're hoping something, like, again, it just slides by an Avalanche player. How many times has it seemed to be just that close to the Avalanche?
Duchesne's line back out. He'll take the faceoff against Riley Nash. Win on the draw by the Avs, but it hopped. It goes out to center. Redmond backing up. Makes a pass across. Holden feeds to O'Reilly. Dumps in. Pass around the wall. Holden holds it. He shoots. Save by Ward. Bouncing puck to the corner. It comes straight. Puts to the corner. Ward, I think it was him who got in the way of Briere.
Yeah, he stepped up in front of Briere. Referee's talking to him right now, so you know. I won't call it there, but let's stay away from that.
All 4 penalties called in this game have been against the Hurricanes.
Yeah, like on the heels of the Avalanche having 1 penalty called against them last game.
And getting no power play chances. Carried in by Ginla. Nice pass. In front and slowed up, and Ward able to cover for a face-off in the Carolina zone.
Well, for the Avalanche, you know, they've really worked hard. They've changed their system. They've gone from man-to-man to sort of more of a zone defense in their own zone. And you can see the results against the New York Rangers, and a lot of those came late for the Rangers in that hockey game. The Jersey down to 25, Washington down to 23. Right now it stands at 25, I believe, for the Avalanche tonight for shots on goal against. So, you know, much better numbers, much more manageable numbers defensively.
Have to have another game this season against Carolina. It'll take place in North Carolina on January 13th, part of a long 5-game road trip for the Avs. It'll be game 2 of that 5-game road trip. The second of a back-to-back set for Colorado. First night against the Caps. Kicked over the line. Avalanche regained possession. Holden passed through the middle. Smacked back in by Rask. Around the boards in the Avalanche zone. Barry, nice move to get around Skinner, picking up speed as he comes through the neutral zone. Broken up, chipped back out to center ice by the Kings. The 7th consecutive game against an Eastern Conference team for this Avalanche club. 3-3 during this stretch. Tipped by Semin, but he wasn't at the red line, so Carolina's called for icing.
And now the Avalanche, let's see what they do. They're quickly coming back out with Duchesne's line. Johnson and Hayden. Again, they want to use that 15-second rule, get the face-off, start these guys hopefully running around. Let's not forget, Carolina's down to 5 defensemen in this game.
Redo the face-off. Eric Stahl, as you see a defenseman Tim Gleason ready for the face-off. It's Eric Stahl against Duchesne. Mad scramble, comes behind the net, chipped around the near side. Pitching in is Hayda, cut off by Stahl, makes a quick pass. A Bice, the red line for Semin. He cuts in, trying to shield a man. Hayda away from the puck. Semin turns, waits, turns and shoots, and his shot got tipped wide of the net. On the far side wall, hooked around by Stahl. Carolina wants to get their players off the ice. Avalanche stay with the Duchesne line. Johnson pushed the puck through, dished off out to center ice. Punch to the blue line. Lyles sends it across. Hainsey through the middle. Carried in by Nash over the line. Shot, and that one slammed wide. Boy, that Strauchel had quite a shot there. Carried in by McKinnon with speed. He's in, he shoots, and a save by Ward. Wow, what a blazing amount of speed there. Shot steered away by Ward to the corner. Round into the far side. Landeskog jumped off the bench. Gets to the puck. Slot, shot, score! It's tied up at 3. Jerome McGinley. And the Avalanche knotted up with 5:17 to go.
Speed by McKinnon on this goal. Like, sets everything up. He just literally skates right around the defenseman. Great job. Ward, good job just doing. But now everybody's running around a little bit. The Avalanche, Landeskog will pick up his 2nd assist of the game. Throws it across. McKinnon is in front. So there's, I mean, that's about as well set up a goal as you're going to have. Did McKinnon touch it? I don't think so. But again, like one way or the other, put that puck on net and they score.
That's been coming for the Avalanche. They've had the last 2 goals covered by Ward.
Now, Mike, just a little note, but now this game belongs to Calvin Pickard.
The goal by Iginla in the third period is tied it at 3.
Well, Michael, here we go. Tied at 3 at Jarome Iginla. Got the big goal for the Avalanche. And just good hard work for this line. You know, put together tonight because of all the injuries that they had with McKinnon. I mean, just flying this game. He now has a couple of assists, and suddenly, Mike, he's atop the Avalanche in scoring this season with 15 points. The Landeskog, he's had 2 really big games, last 2 for the Avalanche, and Iginla's first in 13 games. These are little things now in tonight's game.
And win the face-off into the corner. Duchesne behind the net for O'Reilly. By the center, cut off. And backhanded by McClement out to center ice. Well, the Avs score, and you win with Subway. Visit your local Subway restaurant tomorrow for any regular 6-inch sub for $3 after 3 o'clock. Offside. Avalanche with 4:41 to go in the third period.
Well, for the Avalanche, a couple days off, Mike. And then it's on to Arizona back-to-back with the Chicago Blackhawks. Interesting for the Blackhawks. They will be rested. There'll be a couple of days in Colorado before they play against the Avalanche. One of those unusual ones. Anaheim had it earlier against the Avalanche where they were sitting waiting for the Avalanche to come in after a road game.
Down the ice for Skinner. Cuts in, he shoots, misses the net. On the near side, shift back towards the corner. The Avalanche move to center. It is Ben Street shooting in towards Ward. Live the puck to the corner. Centered out in front. A steal. Batted away. Back to the corner. Hainsey. Pass up ice for Skinner. Waits. Threads the pass through for Nash to take. The red line. And dumped in. Both teams change up. 4 minutes to go in the third. Avs have fought back. Twice in this game they've been down by 2 goals. Chipped out to center ice. Now what a move by McKinnon. And then lost the puck. Lyles throws into the corner.
Mike, he couldn't quite get control because he had the defenseman confused. They were backing up. They don't know how he got that puck.
Up the board, Semin. Shoots the puck wide of the net. Behind the net, Lucy. To the corner, Landeskog. Sends it around to the far side corner for Holman. Protects the puck. Pass behind the net. Redmond. He's got a lot of real estate. Comes out to center ice. Over the line pass for Landeskog. Cut off. Falk. Quick pass up ice for Gerby. Sends it to the line for Stahl. Cuts in, he shoots, had it blocked. Stahl threw it out in front. Chipped in front of the net. But blocked by Redmond. Trying to clear, then batted out to center ice by Colorado. Hainsey's pass. Turned back in by Lindholm. Up ice for Eric Stahl. Handoff. Shot by Lindholm comes wide of the net. And taking and flying up the ice is O'Reilly. Drop that shot. Save made by Ward on Briere.
Oh, Michael, that was a very nice play coming up the ice. I love how when you watch this, you're of course going to watch the nice pass by O'Reilly, but watch Briere come into the little soft spot. He didn't go in the middle. He went in behind. He sort of came through a bit, and then this is the play earlier. McKinnon, I'm sure John Michael Lyles said, whoa, where did you come from? They just lost the puck, but good shift. Good last couple of shifts for the Avalanche.
Puck is dropped. Hurricanes get to it. Right off the glass to center. Skinner separated from the puck. Get it. Puts it into the corner. Stolen away. Centered out in front. And Talbot bats it up the slot out to center ice. There's by Cleese. Dumps the puck ahead. 2:20 to go. 3-3 game. Gleason pass. And out to the middle circle. Tended for Skinner. Broken up. Bounces in front of the penalty boxes. Slugged ahead by Talbot into the Hurricane zone. 2 minutes left to go. Chip off the wall. Cut off by Landeskog. Feeds it across for Hayda. Over the line. McKinnon just flying. He shoots, and the glove save made by Ward. then Landeskog and McKinnon get involved for the Avalanche, and here comes everybody else. All 10 skaters along the boards behind the Carolina net.
Oh, Nathan McKinnon, Mike, we saw it last year, we've seen it this year. Does not back down. Gleason is one of the bigger defensemen for these Carolina Hurricanes. 6 foot, 216 pounds. Gets a little shot at him and pushes right back. And then Landeskog comes in, and then McKinnon comes in.
But because the defenseman came in, Peter, they moved the faceoff into the center zone. So you lose that faceoff in the Carolina end.
Yeah, it's one of those things you got to calculate if you're a defenseman. This late in the game, is someone getting, pushed around down low that you have to get involved. And Hayden felt that was a situation.
But then the Avalanche win the faceoff. Shot from the point. Kick saved by Warren. McKinnon darting through. Pass in front. There it is. Yeah, did it. They did it. They did it. They did it. And they lead 4-3.
Michael, I'm telling you, sometimes I absolutely love being where I am. Zach Redmond read that play from the moment it went down low. I was looking right at him, and he sprinted. They're going to top of your screen. They're going to sprint in. Right down low, perfect pass by Iginla, and the Avalanche. Mike, if nothing was happening, they made something happen, and now they have the lead. This line, has it been good?
And the last 95 seconds dumped into the Avalanche zone. Ward on his way to the bench for an extra skater. 6-on-5 now for the Hurricanes. They pull the goaltender. And the slot backhander goes wide of the net. Derby has the puck. Back to the point. There's a player without a stick. O'Reilly without a stick as the shot gets blocked into the corner. And it is iced by the Avalanche. Well, that'll give the Avs a chance, though, to get a stick for O'Reilly.
Well, let's go back to the goal. This line, now, as we mentioned, it came together tonight because of injuries. But McKinnon, like, this is going to be his 3rd assist of the night. You see Redmond coming in from the point. Read that perfectly. So now for the Avalanche, 3 defensemen have goals in this game. And Redmond, 2 big goals.
The Avs have outshot the Hurricanes 16-6 in this period. Just coming on like gangbusters here. And Redmond with his 2nd goal of the season. Right now, the difference maker.
And Mike, if you run through this game, 9 guys for the Avalanche not in the lineup because of various injuries. You call up an entire line from Lake Erie. They're in on the first goal. They give the Avalanche some energy. The defensemen step up. They get 3 goals and a line for the Avalanche. And McKinnon in the middle. Iginla and Landeskog dominate. Just dominate this 3rd period. 1, the speed of McKinnon, but 2, the smarts of Iginla. And Iginla, Mike, he's a big play guy. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. But he's a big play guy, and he makes 2 big plays in this 3rd period.
On the faceoff, back to the point. Shot through traffic, knocked down and waved away by Pickard. Back to the near side boards. Lindholm to the corner. For Stahl, chopped away. Johnson rammed it around the boards, down the ice. Another icing call though on the Avalanche. Whistle blown with 43 seconds left. Started back in the 2nd period. Down by 2. Eric Johnson gets the goal into the 3rd. It's been all Avalanche. First Iginla with a rocket of a shot, and then he sets up the go-ahead goal for Zach Redmond to score at 18:25. So the Avalanche down by 2 have scored 3 unanswered goals, have taken the lead, and all this happened after, Peter, the goaltending change was made.
Yep. And this line, McKinnon's line, has been on the ice for the last 3 goals for the Colorado Avalanche. They're checking time right now. That is the one thing about this hybrid icing that sometimes can be a little confusing. At what moment as the linesman should, blow the whistle? Yeah, so they have added 1 second. Doesn't seem like a lot, but we'll see.
Nash against O'Reilly for the face-off. Scramble for the puck. Canes get it. Skinner behind the net. Cut off by Johnson. Slugged around the wall. Blocked at the half boards. And it comes straight. Canes to the point. Shot blocked. Chance. Oh! Brilliant save. Made by Pickard. Along the near side with the puck. Scooped down the boards. And cleared out to center ice. With it is Briere. Trying to backhand, but it got blocked. But there's only 10 seconds left to go. 10 seconds remaining. Lindholm. Checked by Hayda. Here's a chance, though. 4 seconds. Shot got tipped. Erik Johnson got his stick in the way and tipped that chance out of play.
Mike, there was a play off the far boards that looked like it was innocent, but Carolina was sending everybody. They actually had a man open on the far side. Right there, Johnson, who has been big in this game. You see the puck comes across, they're doing the right thing, but it pops up and over, and suddenly there's players open, and Duchesne, what a great job he did to read that and help out defensively.
And how about moments ago, Peter, that save by Pickard?
Oh,
that was brilliant. Well, they've added a little time, 2.8 seconds, one more shot for Carolina if they can get it. Nash on the draw, comes near side, there's a chance, blocked by Hayda. This one is over. A come-from-behind victory, and Calvin Pickard gets the win. And Zach Redmond with a game-winning goal for the Avs as they win as a club 4-3 over the Carolina Hurricanes.
Wow, wow, Mike. On the heels of so many disappointing losses by 1 goal this year, the Avalanche down midway through this period, Mike. It just seemed like it was the time was just going to evaporate on the Avalanche. That big line with McKinnon in the middle, flying, like he was flying in that last part of this game, especially in the third period. Iginla, huge goal for the Avalanche. Landeskog, a couple of assists, but let's go. Calvin Pickard, that's his night, man. I'll tell you, steps in, shuts him down, and he gets his first win in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, Pickard, 17 shots, no goals, and he makes a huge save in the last seconds to get his first National Hockey League win. What a victory for Calvin Pickard. He played 43 minutes and 10 seconds, gets the victory. Zach Redmond with a second goal as an Avalanche, and it's a game winner tonight for Colorado. So let's listen in. Here's the announcement of tonight's 3 stars of the game.
Now, tonight's 3 stars of the game, as selected by Mark Mosher of Altitude Radio. Tonight's 3rd star from the Avalanche, scoring the game winner just minutes ago, number 22, Zach Redmond. Tonight's 2nd star of the game, number 29, Nathan MacKinnon. And tonight's 1st star of the game, scoring his 4th goal of the season, number 6, Erik Johnson. And our number 1 star standing by with Julie Brahman.
EJ, it seemed like it all came together tonight, but what does it say about this team when you were down early 2-0?
I'm not going to lie, it was ugly. I'm sure the fans wanted to leave after the first. It wasn't very good, and thanks for sticking with us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
What do you feel like was the key? The intensity really rise once you guys finally got on the board.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, the 3 kids that just got called up from the minors, they were probably our best line to start the game, and played gritty, played hard, and we just kept chipping away. And sometimes it's not pretty, but gets the job done in the end.
How good does this particular win feel? I mean, those guys, big smiles out there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you how poorly we felt after the first. I mean, we could have, held our heads pretty low and felt sorry for ourselves. We came out and we worked hard and got behind the great support from the crowd. So thanks again to all you guys for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.
And I'm sure planning next game, Phoenix on the road, kind of just building on that.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Next game is Phoenix on the road and just kind of building on the performance tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, haven't been as great as we wanted to at home, so to get this before we head out to Phoenix will be a nice feather in our cap, and just hopefully keep building on the good things that we started tonight.
Thanks, EJ.
Thank you, Julie.
That was Erik Johnson. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Julie. Well, the Avalanche have won 9 in a row. They've never lost to the Hurricanes at Pepsi Center. They win tonight 4-3. Join us again Tuesday night. The Avalanche face off against Arizona. We start our coverage at 6:30 on Tuesday night. Let's get to the studio. It is time for the AutoNation Toyota Locker Room Reports.